I think we should all just give Mayor Clark a big round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dave, for that warm introduction. I really appreciate you all being here today to hear about what's going on in our community. I first want to introduce, first want to thank the Chamber of Commerce, the President, Bob Shackelford, Executive Director, Danielle Bethel, the board members, for hosting this event each year. I think it's important for us to come together and get a sense of where we've been, where we are, and where we're going as a city and as a community. I'd like to also introduce the team that is serving you as the Keizer City Council. On our council this year is Council President Kim Freeman, Councilor Marlene Parsons, Councilor Roland Herrera, please stand, Roland, Councilor Laura Reed, Councilor Dan Kohler, and Councilor Elizabeth Smith. These folks are your team for serving the City of Keizer in 2019-20. I would also like to thank the two councilors that have just recently left office, Councilor Amy Ryan and Councilor Bruce Anderson, who did a lot of the work that you're going to hear about today in this previous biennium. I also want to acknowledge that so many folks here today are elected officials. We did the introductions around the room, so I won't repeat, but I want to thank all of the folks that serve in elected office. By and large, we are volunteers that have chosen this as our way of serving the community, and I'm so glad that we have that chance to be able to give back in the ways that you all have chosen to give back in our community. So today, let's talk about where we were, where we are, and where we're going. Last year, we talked about how we're taking a long-range approach for sustaining our good work, the services and community that we are as Keizer, and how we are getting to yes. And over this last year, we did indeed get to yes. We are building on these successes, and we are charting our own course for our future. We're learning about options and making decisions as a community. So let's start off with what I started off last year, the Homeless Initiative. We successfully transitioned from an adopted strategic plan into action. We now have the data that we need to chart our course into our next steps. Allie Treichel was hired as the coordinator in February of last year, and she was spirited away to some city to the north that shall begin with P in November. But in that time that she was with the Council of Governments as the plan coordinator, she absolutely nailed it. She understood what we wanted to get out of that initiative. Better understanding of the needs of people in our community, a better understanding of the assets we already have, and how are we using them? Are we effective? Are we not? Are we getting the best service that we can for people in need in our community? We now have the asset map that we needed to understand that we have over 550 groups, agencies, organizations, all providing services in some manner to meet the needs of people who are homeless in our community. Clearly, we are invested. Clearly, we care. Clearly, we want to make a difference. Now, we're working better together to achieve that goal because we know what we have and what we need to do. We also now have the money map that helps us understand what the funding sources are, where they're coming from, what they're being allocated to. Again, with this information, we now know what we have and where the gaps are. We knew one of the major gaps right out of the gate was an overnight shelter for runaway homeless youth. Folks, Taylor House is now open, and you guys had a lot to do with that. This is awesome for our runaway and homeless youth to be safe at night. If you haven't had a chance to tour that place and to hear about what's going on, it is a beautiful home, but what's really beautiful is the young people who are safe there, and they are transitioning from uncertainty about themselves and their future into being able to be restored to family, provided services, and move on with their lives in a safe and productive way. The other, another big shift has been our warming shelters. Last year, we had one that was able to be staffed. In this last winter, as a matter of fact, just a couple of nights ago, 3 are now operational in the Salem area, and you, Keizer folks, you've been very active in volunteering and in donating to support those 3 warming shelters to make sure that people who are housing insecure, unsheltered, have a place to go and to be not only receive services, but to be safe on these very cold winter nights. Our Kaiser Community Closets have expanded. Audrey Butler, raise your hand. You want to get involved in providing materials for services and support for our students? Talk to Audrey Butler. She has helped grow that program with the network of women to make sure that our students have what they need, those basics, so when they get to school, they're ready to learn. And they also feel respected. They feel that somebody actually cares. And then they start to care about themselves in a new and more productive way. St. Monica's opened. Have you been there on Apple Blossom? What a beautiful, beautiful facility with 10 units for young mothers and their children to be able to transition from being homeless or housing insecure into jobs, support for learning to be parents, and also a head start for their kids as well. Great community collaboration there. Samanka House, Dan, raise your hand. Where are you? There you are. Okay, anybody, I know all the folks with Samanka House. Samanka House celebrated 50 years of service to women and children in our community. Thank you to Union Gospel Mission for the ongoing investment for the success of these young women and women even closer to my age to be successful and also to then learn how to give back. Samanka House women wanted to give back to the community, not just receive, but feel part of our community. Well, of course, we're Pride, Spirit, and Volunteerism. Of course we want to connect. And they volunteered to work at the Rickman Garden, now the Jerry and Peggy Moore Community Garden, to help produce food not only for themselves, but for others in need, because they wanted to receive and give. I love that partnership, and that's only going to grow. No pun, actually pun intended. They're going to continue to grow. It's this strong collaboration with service providers and partner agencies with Salem and Marion County that we are moving towards serving more people long term. We did a recent point in time count. There are about 1,022 unsheltered people that were counted among the 1,257 homeless people that were counted in the PIT count. We know this is an undercount, but it does give us a snapshot of the level of need in our community and also how much we need to work to continue to grow the services we are providing and do it in an effective way. We're in a better place with services that are growing to respond to that need. We do have a long way to go. Affordable housing like Cornerstone on Portland Road is now online. There's a project now being under development on Fisher Road to bring more affordable housing in our region. We are collaborating to serve and empower people. They also get to chart their own course for their own future in stability and success. Another area where we got to yes and are now charting a course in the future is our parks. Councilor Roland Herrera is our liaison to the Parks Board. Last year, we adopted a fee that began at the fiscal year 18. We have now been collecting that fee for our parks and have brought our funding up to a respectable level, just around $1 million a year. We were eking by with under $336,000 for 19 parks and 250 acres. Now, we're good at stretching a buck, folks. We're really good. But at some point, you've got to have mowers that work, employees who are available to get after the projects when they need to happen, and most importantly, to be able to provide a level of service and quality in our parks that will invite people to be out there and to enjoy the great outdoors in our city. Maintenance projects that have gotten done include the playground at Meadows Park. And on my Facebook page, you can see a picture of the city council playing on the spider web. It was a lot of fun. Sports courts have been replaced at Clagger Creek Park and Northview Terrace Park. Walking paths have been redone at 7 of our parks. We've done tree work, maintenance, mowing, a lot of work to bring them up to a level where you feel safe and you're able to go out there and enjoy our parks. We also have great partnerships, of course. Clagger Creek Watershed Council was recently recognized at the Council of Governments for the regional collaboration in getting projects done, bringing together volunteers from our schools, from our service and organizations, Rotary, Chamber, High School, McNary High School, the JROTC, the Latino Club, the Parks Foundation, and on and on. Because of that collaboration, some fabulous projects have gotten done for our parks. And our parks are showing the result of feeling the love. Coming up this year, skate park update. We're going to be able to get that project done. The Willamette Manor Sports Court will be replaced. Northview Park will get a new swing set. We'll get a new truck to replace the 2000 F-250 truck. Again, we got to keep these things on the road, folks. Get those mowers out there and keep the parks clean. And we're also going to be able to do a lot more tree work in our parks. The winter's hard on them. You go out there and you're going to see down branches and trees that need some care, and that's going to make it safer for all of us. In addition, we are completing our Americans with Disabilities Act asset study. The Council of Governments has done this work for us. And we will now know what projects need to be done to make sure that our parks and other public facilities are brought up to ADA standards. We want to make sure everything in our city is welcoming for people.